there is a big possibility that the government could be shut down soon.
Absolutely. This is definitely something in play. We don't give it a very high probability. Everything we've published at Barclays Research, we see this as a low probability event. We do think they'll come together on a spending deal. But issues of DACA for the president, the border wall funding, those are very important issues that could become an impasse.
So if they do come together, will that be just a continuing resolution that essentially extends another 60, 90 days, or will it be something that will get us through the fiscal year?
It sounds like they're going to get a deal on the fiscal year, but it's too early to tell. Obviously, I wasn't, in the lunch that they had today. But they are trying to work out something that would be more long-term. And there is talk about bringing the debt limit into this, as that's something they'll have to deal with if they don't now in potentially March or April.
So what should we be watching out for in the days to come as this just progresses?
Absolutely. So as we talked about before, or rather as your newscasters talked about before, the news next week with the Steve Bannon and this book coming out, it adds a lot of political noise to this. But I think the key thing is to watch what the leadership of Congress are saying. What's McConnell saying? What's Speaker Ryan saying? On the Democratic side, is Pelosi going to come along with this, as well as Chuck Schumer? Any sort of positive comments from that will be very important. If the president goes out and tweets early about this, he could risk some problems with the Democratic side. We saw that before as well.
So explain how it relate between DACA, the Dreamers situation on the one hand, and the wall on the other, because they've been tied together in the president's mind. He says he wants to provide for the Dreamers. These are the young people that came when they were children, actually, to this country.
Correct.
Okay. On the other hand, he wants a wall, and the Democrats have said, no way, no how. Chuck Schumer said, will never happen.
Absolutely. This is something that's been an interesting topic. The president didn't have to make the wall this big issue. He could have just gotten funded through Homeland Security and had done more border wall funding as previous presidents have done. But he's made such a big public issue about actually building this wall and making it this big public spectacle that it has caused a bit of a problem. And for Democrats, forget about those on the border, but Democrats everywhere, they're really holding firm that they don't want to see money going towards a wall, especially when folks on the DACA situation are still left out.
But also, we're not quite sure what he means by border wall. Is it really going to be a physical wall?
Right.
I mean, the Republican congressman of Texas, Will Hurd, saying that it could be a reasonable and smart border security.
Right.
So I guess we're not even sure where that stands. And also, does he really need a physical wall if, in fact, he just limits immigration
Great
and
question.
deports more people?
During his campaign, it was a quote-unquote big, beautiful wall. A lot of other folks talked about an electronic wall, border surveillance. I mean, the reality is, under President George W. Bush, as well as Barack Obama, the U.S. has expanded their border security. They have expanded what they consider to be walls or fences and other various elements of surveillance. So my view has been, though, the president does need something he can take a picture of, jokingly maybe something he could tweet, and you do want some physical barrier there at some point, but it doesn't have to happen right away.
And maybe he could call it infrastructure. I mean, let's talk about infrastructure. I mean, the president said he really wants infrastructure. Is that likely to get done either as part of the funding here or as a separate matter?
It's got to be a separate matter. I mean, the infrastructure bill, the informal talk from the White House has been this $1 trillion infrastructure package, $250 billion from the public side, $750 billion from the private side. I've been very skeptical of this all along. We need to see some more details. Obviously, the Democrats love the idea of an infrastructure spending bill, but I can't imagine this Republican Congress going along with it. Keep in mind, for this deal to get done before the midterm elections, you're going to need 60 votes because you're going to have to get past that Democratic filibuster in the Senate.